Welcome back to English from A to Z, English in real life. Have you ever thought about this? That the chapter of your life where you find yourself living alone? What if it's not an ending at all? What if it's actually the start of your most free, your most peaceful, and your most meaningful years? Well, today we're going to explore exactly that, the quiet strength and all the unexpected gifts that you can find in solitude. Look, maybe this wasn't the plan. For a lot of us, it isn't. Maybe it came after a loss or a divorce, or maybe the kids just grew up and moved out, as they do. And suddenly, the house is quiet. So quiet. For the first time in maybe decades, it's just you. And yeah, it can feel like ending. It really can. But what if it's something else entirely? What if this whole thing is a beginning in disguise? At first, that transition it's jarring. That silence, it's not just quiet, it's overwhelming. It's like it has a weight to it. Your own footsteps can sound strange echoing in the hall, and making dinner for one just feels off. There's this sense of loss that can feel incredibly heavy, this feeling that something profound is missing. But what if we try to reframe that quiet? Flip the script on it. What if instead of seeing it as emptiness, we see it as space? Real, actual space. A space where you can finally find some clarity, where sorrow has room to breathe, and where the person who spent years, maybe decades, putting everyone else first, finally gets to come back to themselves. Let's dig into that hidden gift. So, the very first gift that starts to emerge from all this quiet is a really profound new kind of freedom. And it's not loud or flashy, it's this subtle, steady reclaiming of your own life, one moment at a time. It's the freedom to just be. And this new reality, it really unfolds in three key ways. First, your time is your own again. You wake up when your body tells you to, not when an alarm clock for someone else's schedule screams at you. Then, your space is your own. No more compromises, no negotiations about the remote control or what color to paint the walls. And finally, your choices, from what's for dinner to how you spend your money, they're guided only by what you want and what you need. And this isn't just some theory, this is a real lived experience for so many people. Take Richard, a retired teacher. After his divorce, he found himself sketching again, something he hadn't done in years. He started playing music, even dancing around his living room. He said he could finally hear himself live. What a powerful thought, right? It's this return to the person you are when you don't have to fit into someone else's rhythm. Your home completely transforms too. It stops being this stage for performance and compromise, and it becomes a real sanctuary of who you are. There's this great story about a man named Leo who turned an entire wall into a memory wall, filled with photos from his whole life. It's not about perfect decor anymore. It's about surrounding yourself with things that actually mean something to you. And of course, this freedom extends to your finances. For decades, money might have just been a tool for obligation. Mortgages, tuition, all the family needs. But now that shifts. Spending to impress gets replaced by spending for comfort. Spending out of duty gives way to spending for pure joy. It's not about having more money. It's about using what you have in a way that truly makes you feel whole. And all of this leads us to our next big idea, healing. When all that constant chaos of daily life finally fades away, the quiet that's left over offers this incredible opportunity to mend the parts of you that were kind of damaged by all the noise. Now, this healing doesn't just happen overnight. It's definitely a process. At first, that silence just seems to echo with loss. It can feel sharp. But if you can just sit with it, stop trying to fill it with TV or radio, a kind of stillness eventually settles in. The quiet stops being the enemy, and it transforms into this comforting space, kind of like the warm sunlight coming through a window on a quiet afternoon. Samuel, a 73-year-old widower, he discovered this firsthand. After years and years in a busy, noisy household, he suddenly found himself alone. And one morning, he was just sitting there, in the quiet, with his coffee, and he had this huge realization. He said, "I realized I wasn't broken. I was just tired." And that silence, that was the medicine he never even knew he needed. I mean, can you just think about the immense mental relief that comes with this? For years, there's this low-grade stress that you almost forget is even there. This pressure to keep everyone happy, to be everything to everyone. And in solitude, that constant performance just, well, it just fades away. And you know what goes with it? That endless need to explain yourself, to justify your choices, your moods, why you just want a quiet evening to yourself. You're no longer shaping your day or your words around someone else's unspoken expectations. The feeling is just undeniable. It's like you finally exhaled without even realizing you've been holding your breath for years, maybe even decades. And that one single release, that is the beginning of a deep, profound peace. And this newfound peace, this new freedom, it creates the perfect environment for the final and maybe the most sacred journey of all, rediscovering the person you are. You know, the person underneath all the roles you've played for so long. After all those roles, partner, parent, provider, caregiver, after they fall away, a question slowly starts to rise up in the quiet. Who are you now? When absolutely no one is watching, when no one needs anything from you, who is the person that's left in the room? And here's the thing, this isn't about starting from scratch. It's more of a journey of uncovering. Like Thomas, a retired engineer who picked up philosophy and photography. You start to remember what you once loved and you get to explore what still calls to you. You're not reinventing yourself, you're just re-meeting yourself. And from all of this, a new kind of confidence starts to grow. And it's not that loud, bold confidence of your 20s. It's a quieter, wiser self-reliance. Every small act, whether it's fixing a leaky sink or just managing your own calendar, it becomes this quiet reminder that you are still capable. You are still standing strong. And interestingly enough, this solitude also refines your relationships. All the noise from those surface level connections just kind of fades away. What's left becomes intentional, not obligatory. You might see people less often, but when you do, it means so much more. Shared meaning becomes the foundation, not just constant presence. Okay, so we've walked through all these quiet gifts. Now let's bring it all home. It's time to shift from just understanding the stuff to actually applying it. How do you actively make your space a real home for the life you are living right now? It really comes down to a choice. Are you living on autopilot in a space that's just a place where you sleep? Or are you living with presence in a home that truly nourishes your soul? It is so easy to let years just slip by without making the small changes that could make this chapter not just bearable, but truly beautiful. And you do not have to change everything all at once. Remember that the absolute smallest act can be transformative. Move a chair so it catches the afternoon sun. Put on an old record you used to love. Or just simply open a window and let the fresh air in. These are powerful declarations that you are here, you are still choosing, and you are still growing. So I'll leave you with this question to reflect on. Look around your own space, not with criticism, but with presence. This isn't an ending, it's a completely different kind of freedom. And in this space, you are the one who gets to decide what matters. So, how will you use it to honor the incredible person you have worked so hard to become?